Am I the asshole for leaving my dream ghost hunting tour after everyone accused me of trying to date one of the hosts? I, 23 female, still can't believe this happened. For privacy, I'll use fake names. The two YouTubers are Ethan, 29 male, and Ryan, 31 male. They run one of the biggest paranormal channels online, and I've been watching them for years. Every upload, every live stream, every investigation. Last year they announced a competition. The winner would get to join their crew on a 3-month nationwide ghost hunting tour. I entered mostly for fun. More than 200,000 people applied. A few months later, I got an email saying I'd won. I genuinely thought it was a scam. It wasn't. The first day was awkward. I was terrified of embarrassing myself. But Ethan immediately made me feel welcome. He grabbed one of my bags and joked that all contest winners came with emotional support luggage. Everyone laughed, including me, and that's when I noticed Ryan watching us. At first, I didn't think much of it. Ryan was quieter than Ethan. On camera, he was hilarious. But off camera, he mostly kept to himself. The crew told me that was normal. The first few weeks were amazing. We traveled constantly, investigating abandoned schools, historic hotels, old hospitals, and supposedly haunted mansions. Somewhere during those first few weeks, Ethan and I became friends. Just friends. We discovered we both loved terrible horror movies and had the same sarcastic sense of humor. During long bus rides, we'd sit together and talk. Eventually, the crew started teasing us. Nothing serious at first. Look, Ethan found his assistant. Or, you two spend more time together than the rest of us. I always laughed it off. Whenever those jokes started, he'd suddenly leave the room. One night, we investigated a huge old mansion. Around 2 a.m., I got completely lost looking for a bathroom. My phone battery was dead, and every hallway looked identical. Eventually, I sat on a staircase and waited for someone to find me. 20 minutes later, Ethan showed up. Ethan was laughing so hard he could barely talk. Apparently, the crew had spent half an hour searching for me. I was embarrassed, but he sat beside me and joked that if a ghost kidnapped me, the paperwork would be a nightmare. I laughed. Then he handed me his flashlight. For a few seconds, neither of us moved. It was one of those weird moments where you're suddenly aware of the other person. Then someone yelled his name from downstairs. The moment ended. The next morning, I overheard 2 crew members talking. One of them said Ryan was furious. Apparently, he'd been searching for me too. According to them, he thought Ethan was getting way too attached. That was the first time I realized something might be wrong. Over the next few weeks, things became uncomfortable. People would stop talking when I entered a room. Some crew members became distant. One night during dinner, someone asked if I'd entered the competition because I loved the channel or because I thought Ethan was attractive. The entire table went silent. I laughed awkwardly and said I'd been watching long before the competition existed. Nobody responded. Later that night, Ethan apologized even though he wasn't the one who made the comment. I told him it was fine. Truthfully, it wasn't. A few days later, one of the camera operators pulled me aside. He warned me that people were talking behind my back. Apparently, some crew members believed I was intentionally flirting with Ethan for attention and followers. The rumors made no sense. My social media was private. I wasn't posting behind-the-scenes content. I wasn't making money from the tour. I had nothing to gain. But once a rumor starts, logic doesn't matter. The breaking point came during an investigation at an old hotel in New Orleans. A piece of equipment stopped working, and everyone got distracted trying to fix it. I stepped outside to get some air. A few minutes later, Ethan joined me. We sat on the front steps talking. Not about ghosts. About family, mistakes, goals, and life outside YouTube. At one point, he admitted that being recognized everywhere wasn't as fun as people imagined. I admitted that winning the contest had been one of the best experiences of my life. Then he smiled and said something I still remember. You've made this tour a lot more fun for me too. My stomach did a ridiculous little flip. Then someone called his name and the moment ended. The next morning, everything exploded. I woke up to dozens of messages. Someone had taken photos of Ethan and me sitting outside the hotel. The pictures had been posted online. People were accusing me of chasing clout. Others claimed I'd manipulated my way onto the tour. One post called me a professional groupie. I felt sick. The photos weren't romantic. We were literally sitting on hotel steps talking. But the internet had already decided what story it wanted. The worst part, the photos didn't come from fans. They came from someone inside the crew. Nobody would admit who posted them. After that, the atmosphere became unbearable. Every conversation felt awkward. Every interaction felt judged. I stopped looking forward to filming. I stopped feeling excited. I started feeling anxious. 3 days later, I made a decision. I told the producers I wanted to leave the tour early. When Ethan found out, he looked genuinely shocked. He asked if there was anything he could do. I told him no. The truth was that I didn't trust myself to stay. Because somewhere along the way, I'd stopped seeing him as just my favorite YouTuber. And that scared me. A week later, I flew home. The tour continued without me. I tried to move on with my life. Leaving hurt more than I expected. Not because I missed the investigations. Because I missed the people. Mostly Ethan. Months passed. The internet moved on. The rumors died down. Life slowly returned to normal. Then 6 months later, I got an email. Not from management. Not from the production team. From Ethan. At first, I thought it was fake. It wasn't. The email was simple. He said he'd wanted to contact me for months but didn't know if it would make things harder. He apologized for not doing more when the rumors started. Then he asked if I'd be willing to talk. Just talk. No expectations. That phone call lasted almost 3 hours. Then we talked again the following week. And again after that. So, here's the update. A few months after that first call, Ethan admitted something. The night at the hotel wasn't the first time he'd realized he liked me. Apparently he'd started developing feelings weeks earlier. The reason he kept his distance wasn't because he wasn't interested. It was because he was worried people would think he'd abused his position as the host of the competition. We spent months talking before we agreed to meet again. No cameras. No crew. No content. Just coffee. As for the drama, the person who started most of the rumors eventually admitted they were jealous of how quickly I fit into the group. Ryan wasn't angry at me at all. He'd simply noticed Ethan's feelings before either of us did. Ethan and I have now been dating for 8 months, privately, and honestly, I've never been happier.